Hey, what's up, good people, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today, as you can tell by the graphics, my guy Eris and I, we're going to be reviewing season 2 of Chucky, returning to SYFY and USA Network October 5th. Eris, aka DJ Sue, 1/3 of the Three Black Geeks podcast, is here. We're going to break down the first 2 episodes of this season. Now, a little bit of context here. First off, in full-blown transparency, we both really enjoyed the first season to the point that I enjoyed this so much I didn't even review it. It's just one of those ones that I just wanted to watch and just have fun with, you know. Sometimes there's shows like that I enjoy so much that I just do not feel the liberty to have to put out a review because I just want to just enjoy it. That means I don't want to see it early or anything. And I did see a little bit of it early last season because I was a little bit hesitant. Some of these very, very sensitive IPs for me is, you know, the ones where it's just like, please don't touch.
Yep.
But I'm going to say that, number one, the New York Comic-Con panel sold me. Number two, obviously the whole presentation of the panel, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. And then as I watched it, I realized that this series was modern, but Chucky was ruthless, and you know it was adult tone, but it still was very conscious of the world around us, which I love. And by the end of the first episode, I was like, okay, this is great. Second episode, I was like, I'm hooked, and I was like, no reason to review that. I wanted to make sure that we did get you a review for season 2, because with season 1 being so good, now the second question is, well, could season 2 top it? And we're gonna get all of that for you in this non-spoiler review. So Eris, we'll start quickly with you here. First 2 episodes, just overall, just how you feeling about coming back into the season, and for what you've seen thus far, how are you feeling?
Oh man, this was so well needed. I needed this, you know. I mean, come on. As you can see, I'm rocking the Child's Play 2 t-shirt. I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something. We are off to an amazing start. Season 2 is definitely different from season 1's beginning, because I told everybody this when season 1 first started. The first episode, it's slow, but that's the whole point of these Chucky movies, is the buildup has to be slow in the beginning. But by the time you get to the second or even the third episode, oh, it's off to the races. This is, you know, like the whole season is going to be fire after that.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm feeling this season is shaping up.
Absolutely. That's my same sentiments here. I thought the first episode of last season did start off slow with a very brutal statement at the end of that episode, which to me, that statement was the introduction of the tone. Like, what was this going to be? We knew Chucky. And listen, it's on USA Network, it's on SYFY, and much like at the panel, if you haven't seen the panel for New York Comic Con, definitely will go out the way to check that out. Also, they'll be back at New York Comic Con this year. But I will say that, like, people had questioned about the tone. Would it be that adult language that we're used to? Would he be raunchy as we know him to be? And the first part of the episode started off kind of like, oh boy, maybe it's not. And then it was like, by the way, just playing, here y'all go. And I think this one, since we already know the tone, I think they want to tell more story now. So this one did start off a little slow. And the second episode I thought was kind of slow too. But I think when we talk about overall in this, by the end of the second episode, believe me, it's all going to be okay. It's going to be good. And I'm already looking forward to episode 3 now. So, you know, a little bit of a slow start, as we both agree here. But it does get us right back into the midst of things, starting off right where we end off at, with the whole thing of obviously seeing a fan favorite. You know, a lot of our childhood crushes in Jennifer Tilly making a cameo, now returning, because now we know that Tiffany is involved here. Tiffany obviously hijacking that truck that has the Chucky dolls, 72 Chucky dolls to be exact. Yep. And we know the dynamic between Chucky and Tiffany, which is further explored in this season, as I'll talk a little bit about what this season is going to be about. But you know, it picks up right where you left off. So with that being said, I highly suggest to check out the first season, because I do not think you could come into this season with the emotional connection and understanding just the stakes involved if you didn't watch the previous season. And for the folks who are diehard Chucky fans who might have just skipped the whole first season because you had reservations, totally go check it out. Because yes, even you not seeing the first season, you can kind of jump into this and understand there's tons of little Easter eggs, hints, nods, all sorts of different things to all of the Chucky movies, as this is a canon series. So like, you know, all the references and everything definitely come into place here. To the point, just in case anybody didn't know, Jennifer Tilly and the Bride of Chucky is completely referenced in this, which technically not only makes the universe canon, but it makes that movie canon, to the point that she is recognized as a person, not a character. And that is probably the best part of the first 2 episodes here, because, you know, and I wanted to share that with you all because I know a lot of people love Jennifer, and to let you all know that, oh, you're going to get a lot of good Jennifer storytelling and acting and doing what she does best, being unhinged, being unpredictable, and you just never know what she may do next. And we do know by the end of last season who she was attached with, and with Nika being there, who also, you know, is another character and person who sort of channels that same energy. They're gonna have some moments in these first 2 episodes, so just be prepared for that. So so just to let you know, again, your season 2 is starting off and right where season 1 ended, and thus I suggest to check out season 1 right before you get into this, as again, this will be premiere October 5th, so you got plenty of time, folks. Now, Eris, overall, what's this season about? Or what do you feel of the stakes and sort of say, because we really I haven't talked about Chucky much, but what is Chucky up to right now? What can you say without spoiling anything? What is Chucky's whole motivation this season?
So, without spoiling anything, I would say Chucky is trying to. I won't say he's up to his old tricks. I think this time around we're gonna see something a little different. Like, I mean, you saw at the end of the first season, your boy had an army. You know what I mean? He had an army.
72 to be exact.
like when I saw that, I said, wait, what is he about to do here? Like, is he really trying to go for the world record of serial killer body count? Like, is he trying to say, yo, Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, hold all the beer in the world right now? Because it was just one of y'all. I got a whole army of me, you know? So I personally hope that we do get to see that. I mean, we were kind of got that cut off at the end of season 1. So I'm hoping we do get to circle back around to that army of Chuckies again. And I'm honestly hoping that we're going to see more cameos from other characters from the previous movies. Like, there's still characters from Child's Play 3 that we haven't seen yet, or hell, haven't even been referenced yet. There's characters from I don't know if there's characters from Bride of Chucky, but let's just I'll just sum it up and say there are characters, at least a few characters from various Chucky movies that should make a cameo. Yeah. That's really what I'm looking for. And as far as as far as Chucky, we know him and Tiffany. Those two are gonna be super toxic. Ain't even a word, bro. Like these two is they're two matters that you try to put it together and they have no business being together. They're just two things that do not belong whatsoever. They try to kill each other at every possible turn. Then they turn around and love each other in the same, within that same breath. And I'm like, yo, both of y'all just need to go ahead and off yourselves real quick. Just get it over with. As you did see in Bride of Chucky. Tiffany mentioned that. Are we going to get that again in this series?
Yeah. So I'm gonna add a little bit more context to this. I mean, listen, Chucky is definitely team fuck those kids, and that means that he is completely after Jake, Devon, and Lexy by any means necessary. He's going to find a way. And then obviously, as you mentioned, that Tiffany is still there as well too. And then there's other things that are kind of involved here. I'm going to give a little bit more context just to kind of know what this season is going to move forward with doing different, because the first season, that's what it was all about. And obviously Tiffany coming at the end was a big deal. And you say like, okay, well, does he just stay after the kids and now Tiffany's involved? There's a little bit more too, because everyone's fully aware of the murders and whoever they want to point it at, obviously the kids are traumatized by it, and their families and so on. At this point now, going into season 2, the things have really hit on their doorsteps. And because of this now, they have been giving a second chance, because I'll just say I'll just call it how I see it. Society's ready to write them off. They're like, listen, these kids are problematic, throw them away. And essentially they've been given an alternative option of going to a rehabilitation school, which is a Catholic church school, to fix and repair their sins. So we see them now going to an institution filled with other delinquent kids. I will also mention that with that, you have to think, what does that mean in terms of more kids being around each other, knowing that they're all there for a particular reason, religion being involved, which is completely going to stir things up, considering what Chucky represents and how we know Chucky is. And then I mentioned that, this is called Chucky. So, of course, Chucky at some point is going to be knocking on their doorsteps like, listen, I don't give a hell who's in here. There's 3 kids in here I need to go ahead and take care of. And much like Eric said, we're going to see a different side of Chucky in this, that when you really have to think about Chucky's ultimate plan, it ain't so transparent instantly. But I think by the time you get to the end of this episode 2, you start to think like, oh, I think I know what's happening here, which is interesting because it's not just a traditional slasher here. He's more coming off now as like a psychological thriller, because he's devising a plan, and it ain't just exactly what you think it's going to be. And we mentioned that army that exists. How would that be involved here? So there's a lot of different things to kind of consider going into this season that I think just takes what season 1 did and just comes back and just tops that, tries to top that, as we can see thus far. 2 episodes that so far is moving in a way that I think like this is going to be a phenomenal season. Like, I'm really digging what's going on. One other thing I really want to add to, again, referencing back to New York Comic-Con. And since then, I have learned and sort of educated myself on puppeteering, and that appreciation for that art and for those artists in terms of doing that for stage plays and productions, and just really the technique and the physicality of it. I just gained so much respect for it, to the point that it made me go back and look at this in a whole new light, which ultimately I really wanted to see how the season was going to look. So when I think about the practical effects of this series so far and the puppeteering of Chucky and the things, the mannerism, it's phenomenal. I never thought I would look at a Chucky, any bit of it, or movies or anything, and look at it in the light that I'm looking at it now, that just make you look at how Chucky's being handled in this series. Is like very, very special. And with that, I'm just saying, like, there's a supreme like investment into this series, this franchise going forward, with the cameos, the Easter eggs, the returning actors, this young nucleus that is not only getting better, but they're getting older too. My God, Jake and Devon, there's a little bit of a time jump here. 6 months.
Yes,
these little, not so little young adults have gotten older now. So be prepared for that.
I swear, when you and I saw this, I said, hold up. we got a Stranger Things situation. Somebody aged up. We got a time skip in between filming.
Definitely did. With Jake moving, also Jake moved with his foster family, so it's a little bit of a distance factor between Jake and Devon and their relationships. So that also brings a little bit of a challenge for the kids. I should also mention that Caroline is, still struggling with what happened last season with Chucky, and well, if you're gonna fix somebody who's struggling with a doll issue, of course, what you do is get her another doll.
Give her another doll.
So there's that.
Not just any doll, but a doll that's going to be very familiar when you see it. Let me tell you, when you see it, y'all going to turn into Rick Dalton and be like that.
Yep. Love it. I love it. And then Lexy is also trying to protect Caroline. She's anti-dolls. But she's also struggling with some sobriety issues as well too. So that's really what's happening with the Young Nucleus, and the pride of Hackensack and their family is trying to cope with everything that's happened. But as I mentioned, the young kids, because of predicament that they get themselves into, which is definitely the exclamation point from everything that they've been through from the previous season, thus sends them away to a familiar place. That if you don't recognize the place, they will mention what the place is, and that also becomes a really big Easter egg. And I'm not gonna say anything else because anything else will give it away. So just know that these first 2 episodes are loaded with things that you're gonna be like, oh, know that, I know that, I think I remember that, and all sorts of different things. So yeah,
I gotta say, I gotta say, when they go to that place. Right at the beginning of it, I thought to myself, are they going where I think they're going? I said, oh my God, they're going to go to that place. Like this series went to a certain place. I can't say what it is. And then it pulls a 180 and I go, oh, okay, but that's still familiar. So, yeah. Yep. I really thought this movie was about to go there. I was like, "Ooh, we about to go into that territory," but nah. I'm pretty sure. If this series wants to do what I hope it's doing, which is just have fun with the lore of Chucky. Yeah. Just have fun with it, and that's what you do. You take from the source material of all 7 movies and just have fun with it. Yeah. Make it make sense, but have fun with it.
Yeah. Absolutely agree. As far as the episode structure, everything's broken down to 5 acts. So if you recognize television programming, it's very much structured that same way as far as how 5 acts of a television show is kind of built, which means about the time you get to the 5th act, you better turn your antennas on, because that's when all the really stuff that sets up for the next episode, but also the major cliffhangers, which again, episode 2 leaves you with a major one, which is so cool. Yes. Now, I did not feel that the first 2 episodes was as brutal as the first 2 episodes in the first season, but I will say, as I feel that the genre of this episode sort of have changed a little bit. I felt like first season was more of a slasher, and I feel like this was more of, again, as a psychological thriller to me. And which by that, I think that these first episodes are entirely creepy. I think that it keeps your hairs on your arms raised, and you're just wondering, what is Chucky up to? Because his plan is still not fully fleshed out, and we don't really know. We can suspect, hopefully if we do like an end of the season review, we can kind of talk if we were right or not. But there's enough hints to make everybody sort of suspicious of what he's up to, as well as the kids trying to figure out what is he up to, because it ain't just traditional Chucky happening right now.
This one's different.
This one different. So there's that. And I think the last thing I'll give it to you is just that I think that be expecting the unexpected. I think we may have some old alliances revisited. I think we may have a friend of enemy of a friend of my enemy is my friend. Is that how I go? A friend of an enemy of my
enemy of, or is it an enemy of my friend is is my enemy.
Y'all know what I'll talk about. When somebody got a common interest of an enemy and then end up becoming friends, that may be a thing as well too. Right. And so just be prepared to be completely unprepared for what's to come, because that's the sort of my feeling. And thus far, for 2 episodes of season 2 of Chucky, it's been a dope ride.
Something to piggyback real quick off of what you had just said earlier. Now, you remember how you said these first 2 episodes weren't as brutal as season 1's first 2 episodes? While that's true, without spoiling anything, it's not brutal, but when you see it, you'll see it. I'll say this: this is the second time that this happened in the Chucky franchise. It's the second one to That's how I'm gonna put it. It was the second one to happen.
Yeah, you're right.
Pure callback.
Yeah, very, very true. Very true. So, my advice, folks, and we can give closing thoughts here. Chucky season 2 picks up where Chucky season 1 left off. Please check out season 1. It's available now, as season 2 returns on SYFY and USA October 5th. Hardcore Chucky fans or casual horror fans is looking for a new series. Definitely, it's easy to jump into. It's a little bit of a slow burn in the beginning, but I think it has a lot of fun. I think that there's a lot of intrigue into these characters. I think that this show does a really good job into staying current and modern with the times around us. The show is very inclusive, which is always something I'm always going to give a shout out to, as we see more and more in that in media. And I think that I should also mention too, this is a little bit off brand, but I'm just gonna say it. But on the internet, people always fuss about something. And long time ago, matter of fact, not long time ago, exactly a year ago, there was this whole thing going about Michael Myers being a homophobe because he killed the gay people.
Yeah.
What I loved about this is that, first of all, episode 1 is titled Halloween 2, and episode 2 is called The Sinners Are More Fun. I have got to tell you that the 2 funniest references of these first 2 episodes is obviously the Jennifer Tilly and them and Bride of Chucky, and completely mentioning that Jennifer Tilly is a person and not a character. But yeah, so completely making that canon. There's also a Scooby-Doo quote. So there's 3 things. Scooby-Doo quote was completely funny. But the third thing was Chucky being very much deliberately clear that he's not a homophobe, that anybody could get it, which is it's funny. The episode is called Halloween 2. So he literally made fun of the internet trolls who tried to go after Michael Myers by coming out and basically saying that, listen, whatever y'all want to say, I don't discriminate. Anybody can get it. And he said it verbatim. It's literally the funniest lie of this entire series. So I love that. And it's a good time.
He also made it very clear back in season 1.
Yeah, exactly.
He said it again, like he said it before in the first season, that he says, hey, I'm accepting of anybody and everybody. And when he said that, I said, oh yeah, you're accepting, but at the same time, I know that anybody can get it. It does not matter what their background is, what their orientation is. You're a body, therefore I'm getting it.
Yeah.
Think about it. I really seriously think about it. I mean, how silly would that be for a serial killer to run around and be like, oh, these 2 are in the same-sex marriage? Y'all off the table. I won't touch it.
Yeah. I just think it's funny because this just shows you how conscious the show is. And anybody that follows SYFY or the Chucky handle on Twitter is very interactive. So that means that social media team is working. They knew exactly what they were doing with that line. So, and with the title of the episode, it just makes sense. So I picked up on that. That was completely funny. But yeah, what's your closing thoughts of this so far?
My closing thoughts, first of all, congratulations to the beginning. I'm going to go ahead and give them their flowers right now. This second season, I'm already calling it is going to be a fire season. I called the first season a fire season from episode 1, and I'm going to call this one as well. I also want to give a huge shout out to the puppeteers and the visual effects people, because good God, did you know that in not just the Chucky movies, but also in the series, that it takes at least 15 people to control Chucky? 15 puppeteers. Think about that.
Yeah.
Like a little doll that's 2 foot nothing being controlled by 15 people.
Yep. 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 I'm aware now with my education over here, so I get it. So
And
but
I also have to give mad props and thank you for choosing Child's Play 2 as the image of Chucky. Like the Chucky that they use is from Child's Play 2. And I said, thank you. That is Chucky at his most scary, in my opinion.
Yeah. Agreed. Oh man. Well, without further ado, folks, it's time for you to get prepared because Chucky Season 2 returns to SYFY and USA Network October 5th. Jump in the comments. Let us know your thoughts, your excitement, all sorts of different things. Your predictions. What do you think is coming back? What do you think they're going to reference? What nods, what Easter eggs you think they're going to have? What do you want to see? Let us know all of that in the comments below. But as always, folks, y'all stay safe and stay tuned because we got more reviews coming back really soon.
I keep